We game time ready. Welcome to my gym where the crowd stays heavy. Keep the bus running cause it's one take one. 4 minutes late with
San Diego State as we are underway. The new season begins, Dave.
I'll tell you what, it's a fist fight down there on the deep.
Saunders for three. It's good from the top. 7-0 start for San Diego State. Mention Reese Waters coming over from USC. He was the 6th player of the year in the Pac-12. And there is a shot from the corner for Waters, his first basket as an Aztec. Cal State Fullerton hasn't made a basket. They turned it over a bunch, and the Aztecs keep rolling. An 11-0 start. Ledee makes it 13, plus the foul. Ledee gets a rebound, boxing out for San Diego State. Ledee trying to hold it all the way down.
You know, those were all people that were impactful.
A turnover, a pass, and Saunders with the flush. Waters the kick out. Parrish waits for the defender to fly by and drains the three. Bottled up, loses the ball. Steal for Butler, on his way. Butler lays it down.
You got to get a timeout if you're Dedrick Taylor. The crowd's going crazy. The defense has energized the
How you wanna lose it all begins with V. Trailing on the break, I shoot the three. There's nothing you can do with me. And ruthlessly the crowd is telling you to get used to these L's you be taking every time you step into the V. IEJAS, cause we the best in home game energy. Got us ready to beat the rest.
All right, Aztec Nation, what is going on? This is the Sons of Montezuma podcast, and I am your host. It's Mateo. You can find me at Mateo San Diego down below. That is my Twitter handle, and of course, I am joined, as usual, my two co-hosts. You cannot stop him. You can only hope to contain this man. It is the microphone fiend, SD Sports Fiend. Good to see you, man. Are you sporting the championship ring, man? Are you sporting the ring?
I have my championship ring, my replica Final Four ring that I got last night. Hey, Mikey, did you pick up one of these?
Oh, dang. That's harsh. Low blow.
I'm sorry. I should have said Mike. My bad, Mike.
Oh, well, that leads us into our other co-host, joining us all the way from East Tahoe, as we like to say, Reno, Nevada. It's Mike, Mr. Mike Tortolat. He is a saint today. He is a saint on the show, so he's not going to be called Mikey today. How are you doing, Mike? How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys? I didn't get a ring, but our friend Andy Serrano picked me up one since you guys are too busy to pick me up one, apparently. So shout out to Andy Serrano for getting me one. And
they were guarding those rings really tight.
Yeah.
So
well, you know, Andy has his ways that is apparently more efficient than you two. He's the Ken Palm #1 between you three, it sounds like.
Oh, Mike. I think this is a great time to introduce Mike's new drop. Once again, it is Mr. Mike Tortolat. Mr. Mike Tortolat.
What is that? Who is that?
We appreciate you, Mike. There's some Karen calling out Mike.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I want to say a big thanks to Mike. You know, he wasn't able to make this amazing game, and I had a wonderful time at this game. It was a tricky game to get to. I had my dad with me. We had amazing seats, but the Aztecs win the home opener. Woo, guys! I did not expect that score. You know, after the first half, I mean, guys, the team came out on a roll. We're going to talk about it all because it was an amazing game. It was so great to be back in Viejas. Of course, everybody knows by now, 83-57, the Aztecs took down Cal State Fullerton. I was yelling a little bit too much after the game. I was hanging out on campus. My throat's a little down, so bear with me. But you know, we got to see the banners, the new banners. We all got our championship replica rings. Fiend, you were in the building. What did it live up to your expectation? The moment of seeing the banner coming down from the sky. How did that feel for you, man?
Yeah, it was pretty special. I love that logo from Houston, that Final Four logo, and to see that on the banner with the national finalist, something that, you know, dreamed about for a long time, for one of those to be hanging up in the rafters, and now there is one. So along with the other championships that we just keep stacking on top of each other. So as far as the atmosphere, I mean, yeah, I thought it was great. I'll be honest, man, that pre-game, hype video, I don't like it as much as last year.
Okay.
So it was very kind of like hypnotic, like almost like I was in a trance. But I don't know if it didn't really get me real hyped for the game. But other than that, man, I mean, seeing Joe Musgrove there, it was awesome.
Yeah, definitely really cool to see Joe down there lead the show in the chant. We'll get to that in just a second. But there's a lot to go on from this game. We shared our last episode about the whole season preview. We looked at the first month of November, and it was really excited to see everybody actually get out there in a non-exhibition game. Right, this game actually counted, and man, it got a little touch and go there for a second in the first half, but when you win and hopefully you learn something, that's always a good thing, as Coach says. So before we get any further, I want to thank everybody for joining in on the stream. I see everybody joining in. You got, make sure you get your questions and your comments. I'm seeing James. I see you. Go SDREO. I see you guys. Thank you for getting in. Thanks for getting in. The Final Four logo was amazing on the banner. SDREO says, and man, it was surreal. I was sitting down low with my dad. I was so happy he got to get in there and see the festivities, something that, back in his day, we're talking 70s, 80s, never thought Aztec basketball would get to this level. You know what I mean? Talking about our own arena, and then let alone that, I mean, a Final Four run. So, we want to bring in, before we get any further, really quick, because, this guy is a friend of ours. He's loud and proud down in the show. And, to kind of describe from a student's perspective, I see you, Stan. I see you, Janet. Welcome. To kind of give us a little bit of a picture of the pregame festivities from the show's point of view, we want to welcome for the first time, well, Fiend used to roll deep in the show. But now we want to bring in, you've seen him, and we're gonna bring in the show skeleton. Show skeleton, can you hear me? Can you see us?
Yes, I can. I wanted to put the mask on real quick, but you won't be able to hear me very well with the mask on, so I'll take it off. But yeah, it's awesome.
Sounding good. Very cool. Man, thank you for joining. This is the first time, having a show member on the actual podcast, Kiss the Rings. Of course, Fiend, Fiend, you guys roll down there quite often. From your perspective, man, how wild was it last night? How wild was it?
It wasn't, the loudest that it's ever been. It was close because, those years in the past were absolutely mind-bogglingly insane. But we're gonna build it up, though, is the main thing. We have the people here. So that's the big thing. We just gotta get them learning all the chants, get them involved more. And we've had a problem with, like, in the past of it being like an us and them kind of thing, where it's like there's the officers and like the super connected people, and everyone feels like, we can't be there. They're different. No, that's one thing that I always try to emphasize. Like we're all just fans, like everyone behind us and everyone around the stadium. Everyone's fans. So.
I'd love to see that. It looked like there was, obviously the show grandmas were down there. We saw you guys down there. Of course, see guys like Kai down there. I even saw Montezuma running around there, the Aztec warrior. Don't tell anybody I saw him down there, but we all saw him down there. It was a fun, festive atmosphere. What did you think, Fiend? What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I thought it was a great showing by the students. I'm, very proud as a former show member during my days when I was in graduate school. I've kind of passed that torch now to the current students, give them the opportunity. You might see me down there at holiday season when the students are on break. Usually make an appearance down there. But man, I thought the energy was great. And tell us a little bit about what was it like having Joe Musgrove to lead the I Believe chants. I could not believe that he was up there leading the chant. That was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know that was going to happen, even though I'm an officer. From what I heard, it sounds like some of the guys who just graduated got him and were the ones who reached out, contacted him, and was able to get him. So I was as shocked as you were, to be honest. That was absolutely amazing to see that, and it's awesome to see that he's showing out for the community. I mean, we all know that he loves San Diego, but coming out was just amazing. And hey, don't forget Jamal Franklin. He showed up too for this game.
Yeah, I see Janet Dabber. I see you. She says the night with the rings, videos, Joe with the I Believe chant, the banners, Jamal cheering there in the front row, the team on. It was great to see. I even saw Joe take some time and get in some photos with some kids and stuff like that. It was a magical night. It was a magical night. Sorry you missed out, Mike. Sorry you missed out, man.
It's all right, man. East County's finalist was there to represent me. Another El Cajon boy. Joe committed to San Diego State before he got drafted by the Pirates.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he was a commit there, and then he bounced. So I know he loves the basketball there, man. But hey, representing East County.
You love to see that, especially when you see like Aztecs go to Petco, throw out the first pitch like they did this past year for the Final Four run, celebrating it. Of course, seeing the video of everybody in Petco going crazy when Lamont hit the shot. Amazing. Sarah, I see you late here. What's up? Who booked Musgrove? Do you know that show, Skelly? You know who booked him?
From my understanding, it was either Tito or Tanner. So either the guy who was in the chicken suit, last year, or the guy in the construction outfit. Those two guys, I think, was the one that actually booked him. But yeah, I didn't hear, or at least maybe they said something somewhere, and I just didn't see it. But made for a really good surprise.
Me and my dad were partial to the hot dogs, man. We love the hot dog suits. Whoever's wearing the hot dog suits.
Oh yeah. Actually, so like there's a chili pepper suit and a hot dog suit, and it's Justin, the guy just with Guy Fieri. He always brings them. So he those are his costumes, and whoever wants them wears them. So yeah, good
we know Justin.
Good
friend of the show.
Friend of mine was wearing. Yeah.
Well, cool, man. We look forward. I mean, everybody in the chat, they're loving it. They love the show, of course. Angelica, the show makes the games fun, and her daughters, I believe, Alexis and Bella, that was the highlight of the evening, right? You see the show, you guys create the atmosphere, and get everybody pumped up. And I know the team really fed off of it. How did that feel? Things kind of got a little sputtery there, towards the end of the first half, but everybody's saying the crowd was great. You guys powered them on. They fed off your guys' energy.
Yeah, I mean, it was packed there, and everyone was just looking to see their first taste of Aztec basketball. And I really I see that. I think it was, I'm pretty sure, Saunders, and I think it was Parrish, after one of the big runs that they had in the second half. Both of them for like a good little bit were both pumping everyone up. So I mean, yeah, they see us, they want us to be loud, so we'll be loud for them. And and during the time when it was a little bit shaky, I mean, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to make anything big about what I'm saying, but there was a little something going on between Waters and number 10 on the other team, Robinson. There was it was real small, but there was something like, I don't know what the other guy did, what number 10 did, but Waters smacked his hand away from him or something while they were walking around. I don't know if it was like facing the show, but yeah.
Did you see that, Fiend? Could you see it, Fiend?
I could see it. Yeah, I could see it from where I was at. Number 10 was getting a little feely there on Reese, and so Reese wasn't having it, and so he was slapping his hands. I mean, it was a chippy game. Those guys were jawing at each other. And it was, you saw, I mean, Reese took a shot to the nose and had to have his nose plugged up with some cotton. But he, definitely, that was interesting to see. And I'm glad that like we didn't get teed up for any of that, any extracurricular, because that's, if I'm another team coming into Viejas, that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to get, the Aztecs to bite on some, silly, stupid stuff to try to get them to, retaliate and get a T. So glad we didn't bite on that. So, but
quick timeout. Dirtball Dan's in the chat spreading rumors, man. The glizzies, bro. I like the glizzies. It's all about the glizzies. Mike Toralot knows all about that. He's all about the glizzies. Okay, anyways, yeah, it was a chippy game. I love being so close to the court. The refs were all over, having crazy conversations with Micah Parrish. It seemed like I wish I could have been a little closer just to hear a little bit of those conversations, man. It looked like they were going back and forth a lot. And then, okay, just real quick, after the game, I'm hanging out with the Hijos. Shout out to the Hijos, the Montezuma, chilling with there are Spanish language podcasts that we have. We were hanging out at Trujillo's. Shout out to Sergio, Big O, Andrew El Chino, and of course Mel. We were hanging out there, and in walks Mr. Bird himself. Miles Bird walks in. We all give him a hand clap. He comes up. He's cool enough to come up and give us a little bit of his time. Of course, super cool young guy. And man, we were talking about those refs. I think one of those refs, from what the guys was telling me, that ref was the same. He was an NFL ref.
Yeah.
And he was the one that blew the call from, what was it, the Saints and the Rams, that game, that like championship game or something?
Yeah.
Little history there. So hey, next, I don't know if you guys had that for fodder in the show, but if you ever see him again, you got something.
He I was reading about him. He did the Jacksonville game the day before, I think, down in Jacksonville or somewhere down in the South, and he refs a lot of Big West games. So that's the first time he's been to Viejas in 3 years.
Ziegler had a little blurb about him in the article, 3 thoughts, if you check it out. The UT.
Okay.
Yeah. So Skeleton, like Eden Art Garden Amusement Museum wants to know, how long have you been leading chants in the show? I mean, you were there before.
Actually,
I was there.
So the interesting thing is, I mean, think about it. I have my mask over my face. I almost never lead chants, to be honest. I mean, it dampens my voice. You can't hear me. The one who's been leading chants for years has been Justin. He's the guy coming up with the chants, like coming up, like mixing them up and things like that. And sometimes the other guys like Chase and Tanner and Tito on my right side. But no, I almost never start chants myself. Although, I mean, when it's needed, usually during like winter break and stuff like that, I'll step in if needed. And there's one game I always remember where I had to basically be the entire show, and it's something that you don't forget, and it shows how far the show's bounced back, though. It really does. I remember it was like a Rope and Mensa's freshman year. It was against Brown, where we lost to Brown, and it was me and like 2 other guys in the show. But you got to have the low points for the high points to be that much sweeter. And you know what? I think about that, but I don't think of it as entirely something horrible. I think about it just as a testament as to how far the program has come and since then, and how far the show has come to coming back and being passionate. And I mean, I feel like I've had little tiny bits of negativity, but I'm just trying to be real. Like, there's going to be bad things. I can't say everything, oh my gosh, the show's perfect. Like, no, we haven't connected to the rest of the people. We feel that we're disconnected. We know that we are, and we want to bring everyone else into the fold. And I'm trying to get, hopefully for the Long Beach game, get some chant sheets out there so everyone can learn it. Justin might make a website for the show, so like have all of our stuff there and make it easier to access everything. And we're trying to make a new Discord so that we can structure it better, get more interaction, because we do have a Discord, but not many people talk in there. And that's where you get the real tight-knit community, is when you have like something like a Discord server to help you. And that's what we want. We want everyone to feel involved. I felt that some people feel like we don't see them, but we do. We see everyone. We want you to be happy. We love it. I always tell people, come up and say hi to me. Don't be afraid. Anyone that I talk to about that, I'm this guy. So I try to be as open as possible. And, I think we're finally going to put it together and, bring the show back to as close to our potential as we can.
Well, real quick, that negativity, just to bounce back against that right here in the comments, a little positivity for you, Show. So, hey, last night was great. It's going to be a fun season. James, Show Skeleton gets on TV all the time on the TV broadcast, Show Legend. And of course, Stan Robinson, he's asking, Show Skeleton, what is your favorite chant to an opposing player?
Ooh, so to a player specifically.
Yeah.
Now, off the top of my head, one thing that is so satisfying is if there's been some dude who's been chippy and just trying to mess with the Aztecs because he knows that, their team isn't actually talented enough to beat the Aztecs. They just want to cause chaos. They foul out, yelling left, right as they're walking is so satisfying because they know that we know they can hear it. Everyone knows what to do. Everyone knows to yell left, right, and sit down. And it is satisfying just to tell them, yep, you tried, but you just completely embarrassed yourself. Congratulations, you played yourself, kind of thing. That's great. It's like specifically to a player, that's really good.
Yeah,
last night was a lot of you let the whole team down.
That's my favorite. That is my favorite. I love that chant. I love that. I mean,
yeah, that's a really good one too. Ooh, one chant that I want to bring back. Well, I don't even think it was really much of a thing even at the beginning. Maybe like the first year or two I was down in the show, but I don't know why it went away. And a lot of the old show members like are repping shirts of it. Aztecs Boombaye, haven't heard it in years, and I want to bring it back. I don't know if it got taken out because of like what it means, because it's in a different language. The reference to, or at least from what I heard from one person in Houston, it was that it's like a reference to the Rumble in the Jungle. It was Muhammad Ali and I don't know the history. That was it George Foreman. Those two, or was it someone else?
Thrilla in Manila.
Yeah, it was the Rumble in the Jungle specifically, and like the crowd was chanting like I think it was Ali Boombaye, which meant something like Ali just like destroy him, or Ali kill him, and like give it to him. And I don't know if like that like someone found out the translation and said years ago, nah, stop doing it. But I don't know. I just love that chant because it's so unique. Like a lot of the chants, I love them. Of course I love the chants, but to be honest, there's nothing as unique in what we currently do as Aztecs Boombaye would be if we added it. So that's one thing that I want to bring back. And if anyone like remembers it and wants to, I definitely want to hear if anyone in the chat remembers that chant, because
we're getting quite a few.
Yeah.
We're getting quite a few responses in here. Sarah saying, the pet band would lead the whole team, let the whole team down. And of course, Chet was a big part of back in the days, getting some of those chants going. So, man, I love what you guys are doing, though. Keep at it. Keep the communication going. I know on behalf of Fiend, myself, and Mike, anytime you guys want to bring on another show member, maybe that'd be a good way. Open the door for you guys to get on here a little more. I think that'd be a cool step, and whatever you guys want to do to keep furthering the culture forward, because I know there's a lot of former show members as well out there want to get some more information from. So what do you think, Fiend? Does it sound like a good idea?
I think it's a great idea. Yeah.
Shot clock confusion worked last night. Yeah, that definitely did. We got to find out what happened to the show Banana. We got to find that guy, man. Maybe you'll locate him and let him know. Come back on. All right, Show Skelly, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for taking the time to join the show. We're gonna link up with you another time, and hopefully we'll facilitate that. All right, man.
One quick question. Quick question. I want to know if you're going to start painting your face instead of using the mask.
Ooh, now that's an interesting thing because, it's been a question of like, can I get my mask in the future? Some other places have been, not like in my mask. I like my mask. I want to keep the mask. That's my thing. Also, painting my face would be a lot more time.
Hey,
That would
commit.
take and it
Full
wouldn't be me.
commitment.
It wouldn't be me. My thing is the mask, and I want to keep that. But if it gets banned, and they start enforcing a ban in the future, I could have to resort to face paint. But I'll fight for my mask as long as I can. If that ever happens, if it comes to that.
How ironic they have to. You're forcing to. They're trying to make you not wear a mask, isn't it?
Yeah. The basketball, okay. Snapdragon, it's been iffy.
Interesting. All right, man. We appreciate you so, Skelly. We'll see you next time, next home game. We'll look out for you.
Yeah, see you around. Hey, and if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's the show Skeleton, just like this on Instagram.
Sounds good.
See you
Everybody,
guys
go give him a
another time.
follow. All right,
bro,
man.
Thanks for coming on.
Have a
Peace
good night.
out. Thanks for coming on. Good to see you, man.
Very cool. Very cool. We appreciate that. Gotta love when, the young people come on the show, man.
Gotta love the
Light it.
passion, man. Gotta love the passion.
All right, guys, let's get into this game a little bit because I know the comments that everybody's talking about how excited they were about this game last night. Like we said, the Aztecs take down Cal State Fullerton 83-57. One of the first things my dad said last night, wow, I didn't believe Cal State Fullerton still had a basketball program. Ouch, man, what a tough one. Whew. Okay, so when we look at this game, we started off crazy hot. I mean, what was it, like 14-0 before Fullerton could even score a bucket? And then we obviously hit that lull, right? And I think one of the biggest, talking points from the game was just coming in without Darian Trammell. We knew he was banged up. Got to get him right for BYU, hopefully, right, from what the chatter is. And just kind of seeing, okay, how was the starting lineup gonna look? And they did very well. Of course, Micah Parrish got in some really early foul trouble, but Jaden Ledee really set the tone for me. I mean, the physicality, just bruising in there, getting a lot of and ones. I mean, he went to the line on the day, I don't know how many times. I mean, it must have been 15 times, I believe. What stood out to you, Mike, watching the game? We were at the game, but you watching from the screen, what really stood out to you in that first half from the fast start to where they basically caught up?
I think this is going to be this team for a little bit, man. Our top six is our top six. That we know what we got with those guys. Jaden, I think, drew 13 fouls last night, if memory serves, which is a lot. You know what I mean? So I think as Jaden goes, this team's going to go kind of like the coach has been saying. Everybody's saying this team started quick. They got the young guys some experience. You could tell they're a little, I wouldn't say out of their depth, but they were pushing a little bit. But, Jaden's a monster. Butler just had a game. I mean, Butler just stuffed the stat sheet, and he didn't do anything spectacular, but he was stuffed the stat sheet. And Micah and Reese are going to be problems for some people. Because, if one's on and the other one's off, okay, we'll have a good game. But if they're both on, I mean, they're going to be tough to guard. So it's going to be interesting to see when Trammell comes back. I am a little worried about that shoulder injury. It's been quite a while, and we'll see what happens. Like Fiend was saying, if he comes around one of those bumps around a screen and he hits it wrong, I mean, that shoulder is sensitive. I think the two most sensitive parts of your body are your knees and your shoulders. So that's tough. So we'll see what he can do. But I was impressed with that team, man. I wasn't sure what to expect. I don't know if anybody was, but he went with his guys in the second half, and they went crazy. I think we only had 3 points from the bench, and with like a couple minutes left. That's the lowest the bench has scored in 56 games. The last 56 games. Yeah.
Okay, Fiend. Well, if you listen to Coach Dutcher's post game presser, I mean, he had some really cool words to say. I think he was talking about how you got these 4 guys on the team that went to the Final Four, had the bulk of those minutes, those meaningful minutes, and then you bring in the young guys, and they're just getting their feet wet. So, I mean, what did you take away from everything you saw in that first half?
Yeah, I mean, I think it went you don't want to get out and have a huge lead and then lose it, and have these runs both where you're scoring points and then you're going through a dry spell. I mean, but the fact that they were able to, get out to that big lead. We played 10 guys, 10, 11 guys in that rotation. So they all got meaningful minutes. I really wasn't that worried at halftime. We were up 2. I felt like our shot selection was really bad in the first half. We took way too many threes and we just weren't hitting them. But I think it was good to get these young guys in the rotation and get them some minutes, get them acclimated to, playing time. So I was fine with the way it went. I mean, because the second half of the game, Dutcher really tightened up that rotation, and he wasn't going to let those guys get nearly as many minutes as they got in the first half. And so that, I think that helped us get out to that big lead. And he was playing the guys who were playing well. And Parrish and Ledee, I mean, they were unstoppable in the second half.
Unbelievable to be so close and to be able to see Micah Parrish's performance come out in that second half. It was a 2-point game going into the half, and then you come out and all that energy, all that defensive energy. Micah Parrish just went nuts on the court. I mean, there was a point in time he's slapping the court, he's yelling out and screaming in the air. We talked about the chippiness between some of the guys, but to see that dog, of course, right? Detroit, the Motor City bad boy came out this game. I mean, I had never really seen him that on that level, but I just think that confidence this season, he knows it. He's acclimated, as he said, in the post-game presser. Last year, okay, there might have been some nerves coming in. You're trying to fit in. You go on a magical run like we did last year. He's feeling at home. He's going to be that sniper that Mike and so many are calling for. What are we seeing? Okay, Sarah. Love the bodies on the floor hustle. That one play where he dove and got that steal, pass it over to who got that dunk? Was that oh boy, that was big man. We got some highlights. Huh? I think we got some highlights. We should be watching these. What an unbelievable atmosphere, guys. Unbelievable atmosphere. So yeah, let's talk a little about some more other guys, though, some other players, because this was our first time, and I see you guys in the chat. This is our first time getting to really see Reese Waters, and he was incredible. His offensive game to me looked so smooth. The shot was dropping. I think he's going to do some big things for us this year, and possibly, really stretch out this defense. Any thoughts on what you saw out of Reese Waters, Fiend?
I still love his perimeter defense, man. I think he's going to be actually, I mean, as much as I loved Bradley, I think he's actually an upgrade over Bradley, and that just might be because of his size. He's bigger, longer, and still just about as quick. And so I really like what his ability to stay in front of defenders or stay in front of offensive players and just really hound them on the ball. As far as the shooting, I mean, yeah, he has some really nice shots. I felt like a couple of shots that he put up were a little too quick in the shot clock. He didn't have like a very efficient shooting day with 5 of 13, 15 points, but just a solid all around performance by him. And I'm really excited that he's on our team.
Okay, all right. As we're looking at these highlights, let's talk a little bit about Jay Powell. We just see right there. He got that and one, got a little chippy down there. What were your guys' thoughts on Jay Powell? Obviously it's his first real game with the squad, but he's a senior. I was encouraged with what I saw. I think it's going to take some time. Mike, any thoughts about Jay Powell?
I need to see a little bit more about him. I think, one of the things I noticed was some of the newer guys, especially him. I think the speed of the game is it's not overpowering him. I think he's getting used to the speed of this game. It's a little bit quicker than where he played before, it seems like. So I think he's going to settle in. And that first game in your new home there's jitters, so you gotta understand. You just gotta calm down, take it, one game at a time, and just get used to it. So I think he'll be fine. But it was I do think that block he got was a charge, and they gave that to him. But other than that, man, I think he's going to be good when he kind of gets his feet under him.
I thought he was fantastic. I mean, I am just you. I mean, I've been on record. I really like Jay Powell, and he only had 3 points. He hit the 3-pointer that hit the back of the backboard. He missed a couple 3-point shots, but I thought he just played really smart, disruptive on defense. He did a really good job of calling out switches, giving help when needed. I mean, he had that beautiful block, and then he got took the ball on the break and then chest passed to Reese for the finish on the other end. And I think he should get more minutes. I think he's just too good of a player. He's too smart, too experienced. He needs to be getting more minutes than he's getting right now.
Okay, all right. Still early. Not having Darian Trammell to me was very apparent. It was very big. Of course, the guys went out there and just devastated Cal State Fullerton in the second half. You wouldn't have thought we were without Darian, but for sure his presence was missing. I mean that ball control there is a point. And when you saw Fullerton in that second half, I mean they were so decimated mentally, and I think that's what obviously this team is going to have to do on the defensive end. We heard it from Ladie. They want to come out the first thing, punch the team in the mouth, see how they respond. That's exactly what happened against Fullerton. But guys, we're going to get everybody's best game this year. That was another thing that was very apparent. Everybody's going to have San Diego State circled on the schedule to play. So we're going to need every single guy on the bench, every single guy that we have to step up in some meaningful way. Without Darian, I hope he shows up for the BYU game. He's going to be crucial. But moving forward, guys, okay, Fiend, you say you want Jay Powell to get a little bit more minutes. Was there anybody else? Because, it's going to get tricky. Coach is going to have to decide who's going to be in that rotation. What did you guys think of some of the other guys moving forward when it comes to like a Miles Heide, when it comes to Elijah Saunders, of course, and Mr. Bird? Any thoughts and opinions on what you saw, Fiend?
I mean, it's only one game, so it's such a small sample size. They all had their strengths. They all, had things that, maybe they could have done better. Bird, I just love the energy that he brings, but he struggled with turnovers, and he also, I think, gambles a little too much on, going for the steals. And when he does that, then he gets out of position, and that forces everyone else in defense to like rotate over. And it just seemed like Fullerton got a couple of easy buckets because he got faked out, or he was going for the steal and whiffed. And I love that intensity that he has, but just got to be a little better, mentally, to not make those errors. The other guys, I mean, Heide is, he's just a solid rebounder. He's runs the floor well. Johnson is just hustles his ass off, and he didn't really help the team a whole lot, but he didn't hurt the team either, right, by being on the floor. And then Davis, I mean, he's such a great I didn't realize he's that good defensively on the perimeter. But he couldn't hit any threes, so he went 0-4 from 3. So they all had, they're young, and it's one game. You can't judge them by one game. But I do think at some point, I mean, unless they do, if they don't raise their game, then they're not going to get in that rotation, because I don't think this rotation is going to be 10 deep. It may not even be 9 deep. It may be 8 or 7.
Stan Robinson, love the increased use of the press. Definitely, for sure. That defensive intensity when they got into that press, man, all those turnovers. And he says, let Jay play positionless. When Jay gets the ball and he's coming down, man, I mean, he took it coast to coast. I think that's going to be a large view of this offense. A lot of people were, where I was sitting, calling for Lamont to shoot it every time he had the ball. And it's like, come on, guys, like he's playing team ball. He's dishing the ball around, 7 assists. But, this offense is going to be very different, very different. You got a lot of capable guys that are going to be in that top of the rotation, what you're saying, Fiend. And, when Darian comes back, that's just another guy that could get you a bucket. But I agree. It runs, I think it for the most part, is going to run through Jay, right? I would think so.
The thing I look at, this reminds me of the 1920 team. 7 guys, 7 solid players, and then good guys behind them, but just not as much experience. I mean, the thing that scares me is the starters were 26 of 50, and the other guys were 3 of 12 or 2 of 12. I mean, they're going to have to shoot and have that confidence to shoot. I love Miles Bird energy. I think he's got to just let the game come to him. Don't go to the game, because he was a little too aggressive on some of those plays and trying to do too much, which is fine. That's what he's known for. But like, if he just lets the game come to him, he's going to be good. Don't push it. Don't force something that's not there. And he'll learn that with more experience and stuff. But he got the, after Saunders, he got 19 minutes, so he played a lot of ball. So, and then notice the thing with him is he brought the ball up quite a bit too.
Yeah.
As that point forward kind of thing, almost like that Jalen, I can't remember his name, the guy from Michigan. So kind of that kind of thing. So it'll be interesting, but I think we're going to go 7, 6, 7, 8 kind of thing like that until some of these guys kind of step up, because the youth definitely did show last night. I like Heidi. He got better as the game went on. He was kind of soft hands when he tried to grab some of the rebounds in the beginning, didn't really secure the ball, got it poked away, was feeling his way around and stuff. So, but you could tell as the game went on, he got better. He learned as the game went on. And I think that's what Dutch wants to see. And I think so what we want to see with the young kids is just get, progress, not perfection. So, we want to win as many games as we can, but our goal is to get to the NCAA tournament and then really turn it on. So, we got good talent, great talent. It's just a little inexperience, and the only time you can have experience is getting experience, and they'll get that, and they're going to get a great test in BYU. So we'll see how they play up there. And Trammell, I mean, that's altitude up there. That's like up here. It's 4,300 feet. I'll be curious to see if Trammell plays, how he handles that altitude up there, because that's not fun. Beet juice, right? Sergio's going to have some beet juice for everybody.
Well, let's hear it from the coach himself.
Season is winning while you learn. If that can happen, then it's a lot of fun. So we learned lessons and we won. But we're going to learn lessons and lose at some point too. And it's what you do with those lessons. It's just the first step in the journey. And so it's begun. I'm happy with the outcome, and we're ready to head on to Provo, and we know what that's going to be. I think we're 4-30 in there. And so we've challenged ourselves. So we'll be ready for the next one and the next challenge.
Coach, how did it feel seeing the Final Four banner unveiled?
It's great. I'm going to look at it every day and then go to work. Step onto Steve Fisher Court, look at the Final Four banner. A lot of good stuff's happened here. So it's fun. This is a fun place. And then the crowd tonight, come on. The energy in the building was incredible. So we feed off that, and this is a fun place to play and a fun place to come watch a game. So it was exciting.
Ooh, that record on the road in Provo, guys, that does not bode well.
The backfield audio cut out.
Oh, I've never been to a game. I've never been to a game in Provo, guys. Have either of you?
No.
I think that place may have over 20,000. Something just short.
Something like that. Yeah, it's a big arena. And don't they have some sort of it's like their own dessert or something? It's like a donut, like a really long like cattail donut or something. I don't know. I don't know if anybody in the chat has ever been to a game in Provo and knows about a donut that they only serve there in Provo. But if you know it, let us know. Like it's their dessert. That record really reminds me like how hard it was the 1920 season when we went in there, and I think it was Jordan Shackle had to like basically take over that game at the end with the 3-point shooting to pull out the late game heroics against them to escape with the win. And we were 30-2 that year. I mean, that was one of our best teams ever. And we struggled to get a win against a team that we were better than. And so that that just goes to show that this is going to be one of the most difficult challenges in their non-conference schedule, along with St. Mary's and Gonzaga. But this is definitely up there because of the the environment there.
What else do you know about BYU, Fiend, and the team in particular? Eddie says they eat donuts the long ways. The only Provo I like is the cheese. What's going on, Eddie? Come on, pipe down, man, pipe down.
Hey,
Fiend,
what does that mean? The long ways? It's circular. You must have went to USD or something like that.
USC guy.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh,
Yeah.
Just fellow children. Yeah. Oh.
Fiend, what else you got? You're on the spotlight. What else? What should we look out for against BYU Friday in Provo, 6 p.m. Pacific?
I mean, they're a really tall team, so they're definitely taller than Fullerton. They've got a guy named Traore, last name Traore. He's kind of like a beefy, undersized center, but he's a beast there. He'll definitely go to battle with Jaden Ladea. It's going to be an exciting matchup. And then they've got another guy who's like 6'10", Noah Waterman. I mean, so they've got some size. They're one of the tallest teams, I think, in Division I. And so we'll see how we match up against their size. I remember us playing them last year. I believe they had like superior size advantage on us. And then their guards are really good, like Spencer Johnson. We saw him last year. That guy, he really good 3-point shooter. And then they have another guard who sat out all of last year named Trevin Nell, I think his last name. And he's solid, and they're BYU, so they're always going to be old, right? They're always going to be experienced. So they're a solid team. It's this is going to be a tough matchup for us.
Always going to have those 3-point shooters. Always. And last year, you're right. I mean, they had some big size as well. I know Jay went off last year, I think, for like 21 points against them. Of course, he had all that front court guys around him to kind of help him and free him up to be as dominant as he was. But I fully expect him to be a beast and bring the energy again. Of course, last year we beat them 82-75. That was at home, though. That was at home. A lot different. And one thing going on the road, that's when you need the young guys to keep their composure. Don't let the crowd rattle you too much. But it's going to be tough, guys. It's going to be tough. I love playing BYU, though. I love playing them every year. I think this is like our 6th year in a row that we're playing them. I wish we could play them every year just to keep that thing going. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know if we're doing any watch party this Friday, guys. We might have to not do that. I'm not exactly sure if I can do that, but we'll definitely keep everybody posted.
You know what Mike, you know what I like about this team. sorry, bro. You make a run like you did last year with Adi, Butler, Parrish, Trammell when he comes back. Those guys at this point know, I don't care who's on the court. We can play with anybody. They know they can play with anybody. I'm not saying they didn't know that before, but now they have the validation of you make that run. It's a different ball game going through all those tournament games. Reese Waters is spectacular, man. Like, I mean, that's just one game sample size, but he was the 6th man of the year in the Pac-12, so that was a pretty good conference. But like those guys, I mean, I would put them up against the starting 5 against anybody for the most part, and they know that they can play with anybody considering after who they beat in the tournament. So it'll be interesting to see how like we talked about in the text, the only thing I'm worried about is when Jaden gets in foul trouble. That's the only thing I'm going to be curious to see how they react when that happens, because it's going to happen at some point. So, I love the Tom Izzo scheduling. Just go in and play as hard as games as you can, and win or lose. You're learning, you're getting better each game. So. I mean, BYU, man. Like, I hope I see these BYU kids running around here on their bikes, their ties and their name tags and stuff like that. And I can say hi to them. Hopefully I can troll them again like last time we beat them. Politely, of course.
Oh, no, I froze. I think I'm frozen, guys.
We can
So
hear
the
you.
game-
You're
yeah,
just
the
frozen
game-
on the screen.
The game I think
Yeah.
is on ESPN Plus and Big 12 Network, I believe. Big 12
Correct.
ESPN Plus,
Correct.
so I can watch that. Perfect.
Mhm.
Do. How about, like, you guys didn't see it because you guys were all at the game, but like use that old NBA on NBC theme song for the Fox Sports 1 telecast. Remember that one?
Yeah. I think it was John Tesh is the one who wrote that song.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh man, John Tesh. We lost Matt. What are we gonna do? What are we talking about?
Matt's...
What's with the hot dog joke between him and Dan? Is that Dirty Dan? Is that Dirtball Dan?
I think
From
it
the football
is. Yeah.
podcast? Mm.
Yeah, I think so.
So
All right,
what do you-
guys. Yeah, what do we do without our anchor man
What was your stat of
on
the
the
game?
podcast?
What was your stat of the game?
Okay, yeah, I can go over my Fiendalytics stat of the game. So this is new segment, Fiendalytics stat of the game. So the stat that I picked out for this game is steal percentage. So the Aztecs had a 15.7% steal percentage this game. That means out of all the possessions, they stole it 15.7% of the time. So 12 times out of 76 possessions. And there was only one team in D1 that averaged more than that last year. That was Merrimack at 16.6%. Fullerton turned it over 18 times. And just for comparison, that the 2023 season, Aztecs had a steal percentage of 10.1%, which was good for 101st out of 363 teams. So like Stan was saying about the increased pressure that we're using with the press, that is leading to turnovers. And this team is a bunch of ball thieves. And I think that's a product of how long we are, how the defensive intensity and just the makeup of this team. And so my hope is that we will continue to steal the ball, turn it over, turn teams over, hopefully in their, backcourt, and then be able to turn it around on them and transition, send it the other way for a transition bucket.
Sorry about that, guys. My minor departure from the pod.
How does that come across your radar? That kind of stat, like, was there another stat that was something that you were juggling to kind of look at, or how did you find that stat?
I look at stats and I see what's an impressive stat, and on KenPom they tell you what the ranking is for the team, and since this is obviously the first game, there's no other games to compare it against, and so that one really jumped out to me. But I agree, Stan. I think that is partially why Fullerton, really the last couple of games, in the exhibition that we played and against Fullerton, why they wore down in the second half. I mean, because that press will wear you down. That defensive intensity is going to make you tired, and you're going to get, tired legs, and tired legs usually do not shoot the ball well.
You loving all this phenomics? You loving all this, Mike? Are you loving all this?
I think it's fascinating. I think it's captivating.
Is it making sense to you?
Yeah, I learned. I know I give him a hard time about it. I mean, he does have a lot of.
I don't care.
Beautiful mind where he sees stats. You know what I mean? It's Sam Reed seeing all these stats until he gets arrested. You know what I mean? So I like to learn from that stuff because I've always been a stats guy, but not as in depth as him. I would like to see the numbers, go up between points, rebounds, assists, kind of stuff. I think that's.
What do you call it? Nerd palm instead of Ken palm?
Yeah. I think you need to get out of the house and go see a movie maybe sometime, and you know what I mean. You know, maybe get a mix in a book. You know what I mean? So
Just buried in stats. Yep.
no, I think that's great, dude. Because like I'm not as in depth like that, but I do learn from that stuff. I didn't even think about steals percentage and stuff like that, but does affect the game.
So what is your Mike's going hard in the paint take moving on against BYU, or should we leave that for the shot clock questions?
That's up to you. I don't know if I have a take yet. I'm still trying to figure out this team, but you know, I am worried about this game. You know, win or lose, we're gonna still learn a lot about this team. But you know, like it's 4-30 in the last 34 games there, and 2-2 in the last 4. So it's not an easy place to play ever.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what? I think we should move on to the shot clock game. Anybody who watches Kiss the Rings, our basketball episodes, know that we like to shoot our shot. We're not scared to have a take. We're not scared to have an opinion, as you guys have already heard. These two knuckleheads here. So it's that time. I got 3 questions as usual, guys, and this will decide your fate. Who won last time? Was that Fiend? Did Fiend win that? No, I think Mike won it last time.
I did win last time.
Okay, all right. That's 1 win on the season against you, Mike. What's up?
Why don't you keep a nerd palm stat on that for this year for us, Fiend, would you? Percentage of wins.
Will do.
All right.
I'll try to keep the questions very easy. And you know, all you guys in the comments, you will be the casting your votes on who you think won, who hit the shot out of the question. They get 3 questions, and hopefully you guys can help me choose the winner of each round. Sound like a plan? All right. So, first question. I believe I gave it to Fiend first last time. So I'm going to give Mike, you get the first question, and you get the last question. So that's a good thing for you. 30 seconds on the shot clock. Mike, who will win between SDSU and BYU? And yeah, might as well give you your score. I think that's probably a good thing to do. Who will win and why will they win? Ready? He's rubbing his face. Shoot it.
I honestly, man, I think we're gonna get beat up there. I think they're gonna beat us. I think they're a little deeper and a little, you know, more mature. I think we're gonna give them a good run, but if we have to get in our bench, we have some problems. I hope we're gonna win, but I think we might get beat up there. It's probably gonna be like 72-66.
Wow. Hey, man.
It's difficult for me to say that. I'm just being
real. I gotta respect it. I gotta respect it, man, because we can't be homers all the time. You know what I mean? And as much as we love this team, as much as we love this program, Coach Dutch said it himself. There might be some games we lose, but as long as we're learning from it.
Yep.
All right, Fiend.
Hey, real quick, the comment I was going to say the other time is you can't allow perfect to be the enemy of good. That's what I was trying to say. That's what I was trying to say. So that's perfect. That's a exact analogy for this team. You can't allow perfect to be the enemy of good because we're going to be good, but you can't expect to be perfect.
You were holding that in all this time from last episode.
I was kicking myself, and he said,
you don't know
what you're talking about. Half the time I don't usually, to be honest. So.
All right, Fiend, you are up. So of course you got to pick the Aztecs, but you got to tell us why will the Aztecs beat BYU? And all you guys watching, make sure you leave in the comments who you think won. Fiend, shoot it.
I think that Lamont Butler is going to have a massively big game on the offensive end. I think he's pissed off about how he shot the ball against Fullerton. I mean, he always brings his A game on defense, but I think we will see Darian Trammell in this game because we need him. And with that experience, with Darian on the floor and all of the starters that we have, we're gonna have enough firepower to beat BYU on their home court.
Score.
Ooh, okay, that was good. I like that. I like that fight. I like that.
What was the score?
Man, what's the score? What do you say, Fiend?
Oh, the score. Aztecs 74, BYU 69.
Would say that. Okay. Did I get anybody in the comments? I see Eddie O. He's picking SDSU to win. Eddie O is picking SDSU to win. All right. That means he's gonna side with Fiend. I see Mr. Angel Aztecs win because they just heard what Mike said. Oh, and they want to keep their bikes.
So
I
I do want to answer Eddie O's question. I think it was Eddie O, and he was asking what the per capita of bikes are in Provo. I need a stat on how many bikes per capita in Provo.
That's the next stat. It's the next stat. Yeah.
I think, yeah. Well, I mean, if you're talking per capita, I mean that's per person, right? So I would say probably one like per person. So whatever it had to be one per person. I don't think that they have more than one.
Bro, one bike per person. Like do you know the weather up there? It's snowing and stuff like that. And not everybody has. What about child? What about
They all ride bikes?
2-year-olds don't have bikes.
They ride bikes from like when they're
They
like
got
6
like what
months
about the
old.
Mormon guy who's got 34 kids and he's 25 years old and all the ages 2 to 4?
They all
don't have
ride
bikes. No, the
You
per
think
capita
they
that's a
share
high.
the bikes?
That's a high per capita.
All right, reel it in. I think everybody's overwhelmingly picking Fiend because they are saying SDSU is going to win. Angelica Fiend for the win. Larry Joe, I see you. Aztecs taking on Friday, 76-65. Go SDREO. All their wives love bikes too. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Janet, going to the game. Good for you. That's awesome.
driving to Provo. Godspeed. All right, Fiend won that round. Ding, 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 ding. Got to give it to him. All right. Next question. Who will be the player of the game? Aztecs only. I don't expect you guys to pick BYU, Mike, even though you picked them to win. I'm not expecting you to pick a BYU player. But from the Aztecs point of view, who will be the player of the game? Fiend, you get to shoot this time first. Hit it.
I think it's going to be Lamont Butler. I think that BYU is going to really try to clamp down and maybe double team Jaden Ledee as much as possible. They're going to make other players beat them. And I think this is the game where we need a strong game from Lamont Butler. We need him to be hitting outside shots and driving to the basket when he can. I think he's just on both ends going to be stellar for us and will be our MVP.
All right, I like that. Lamont Butler, both sides of the ball. He's going to come up big. Mike, what is your rebuttal? Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, shoot it.
I think Reese Waters is going to have a big game. He came over here to play in these games, and I think he's going to go and have – I don't think he's going to be the leading scorer, but I think he's going to have quite a few rebounds and great defense and some points. Just look at him when he made that shot from the corner, just kind of the turn and shoot off the dribble, not even a dribble. He looked incredible. So a little more time under his belt with his team, and I think he's going to be great this year, man. I think this is going to be the first game of many where he excels really well.
2, 1.
Not bad. Okay, guys, who do you guys think won? Lamont Butler, Reese Waters. Eddie O says Waters. Of course he would. He's a USC honk. Let's see. Larry Joe, BYU is planning to be physical with their bigs in the paint to get Ledee in foul trouble. I like Micah Parrish for player of the game. Okay, we got a third option there for Micah Parrish. I don't know who convinced me, but man, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. Angel, Saunders, and Butler will have big games. Waters will hit timely shots. I agree. Man, I'm gonna go with Mike. I think Waters is gonna be the one. Man, he really impressed me in that last game. I think he's gonna hit up some big shots and kind of be that unguardable guy in this game. And LB will get him the ball often. Stan, I see you with LB. I believe it. Angelica Waters, I see you. Okay, guys, last question, and we're gonna go a little different route. So we all were there for the banners being raised, and we all got our rings, and it was a day of celebration. I don't want to diminish anything from that, but I wore the shirt that is available in the online shop for a reason. I wore it last night at the game, and it said proudly raise your banners high, and it had 4 banners on the t-shirt. 4. because there are three jerseys that have already been retired as a part of the Aztec basketball nation, but only one hangs, and that is the great Kawhi Leonard. So, out of the three already retired jerseys in Aztec Nation, the question is, for both of you, who do you think should be the first next in line to have their jersey hanging in Viejas Arena? Because there are three that need to be hanging that are already retired, but they are not hanging up there. You know, when they brought down the banners of the Final Four, it was a glorious moment. You got Kawhi on one end, you got the Final Four on the other end, and there's this big gap. And you know, in an illustrative point, it makes sense. But there's a plenty room there for these three that are already retired that need to be there. Woo, who gets to shoot this one? I believe Mike gets to go first on this one. So out of the three names, Milky Phelps, Judy Porter, and Michael Cage. Mike, are you ready to plead your case? Let's do this. Shoot it!
I think it's Judy Porter. I think she was the greatest Aztec in basketball history, man and woman. That's my number one of our top 10. So I think she's deserving to have her banner up there. And she was fantastic. I mean, she was absolutely fantastic in all the stats and all the things she did and things. So to me, she's the one who should get her jersey hung first.
Are you a little biased because you have a daughter? Does that make you a little biased?
No, I just think she was incredible. I mean, after doing the interview with her and the stats and stuff, I mean, Michael Cage, first round NBA pick, but like Judy Porter was amazing, absolutely amazing. I think she would be well deserving of having that up there. I think so.
Number 33, Judy Porter. If you guys have not seen our episode interviewing her, please go back and take a look in our Kiss the Rings playlist on YouTube. It was a treat for us to talk with her. She's well deserving. She's a social worker here in San Diego County. Been doing that for a long time. A really cool love story between her and her husband that she met at state. And yeah, statistically speaking, she is the most dominant player to ever wear an Aztec basketball uniform. That's tough to overcome, Fiend. That is a tough one. You think you're up to the challenge, because the other two choices are pretty legit as well. Of course, we didn't interview Michael Cage. That's on the bucket list right there. But we did have an episode talking about Milky Phelps. So I'm curious to see which one you pick up on. So 3, 2, 1, shoot it, Fiend.
I mean, all four of them deserve to be up there in the rafters. But if I had to choose one, I think I would have to go with Tradition Never Graduates, even if it's almost 100 years old. Milky Phelps. I mean, the guy won the first national championship for the Aztecs and starred on that team. Plus, he was a veteran who died in combat in World War II. Honor the man. Put his banner up in the rafters. I mean, he is a fallen hero and needs to be celebrated and remembered forever as an Aztec legend.
I will give you a clap on that one, but I will fact check you. On one point. Milky Phelps, he did not die in combat, but he did pass away during his service time. Of course, he was flying the plane and it crashed during his time training and exercising and whatnot. So unfortunately, his story got cut short. We have had several family members reach out to us through different social medias. It's been very scarce, but it's kind of tough to connect. But you're right. I mean, the first national championship, in those in that era before the modern era, but still, I mean, he had San Diego excited and they were carrying him on their shoulders, and he did serve the country. He deserves to be hanging up there with a USA flag on that jersey. So,
yeah, for me, it's personal too, because I had a great uncle who passed away during a training accident at Fort Benning during World War II. And so, very, very similar kind of circumstances. And so that's a family member, distant family member, still kind of hits home for me. So I have a lot of pride for the servicemen and women who have died.
Whew, okay, so if anybody's watching, we get a lot of watchers. So whoever's watching, spread the word, because either one of these jerseys that we mentioned should be retired. And of course, you can't forget about Michael Cage. I mean, like we said, they all deserve to be up there. Michael Cage, number 44, just one of the greatest Aztecs. Probably has, as far as career wise, he was here all those years, and the best representative for the Aztecs in the NBA for so long, until Kawhi got out there and just, put a Hall of Fame career already. So, I see one vote for Mike. I see one vote for Fiend. I see another vote for Fiend. Man, that's a tough one. I don't think there really is a right or a wrong decision on this one, guys. So I'm not going to be the one to completely judge. I'm just going to say, if anybody's watching and has any influence on making this happen, let's make this happen. Does that sound pretty fair, guys?
Yeah, it's a draw.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's going to do it for us here on this episode. We appreciate all you guys making this live stream so much fun. I had a blast, guys, despite the technical difficulties. Thank you guys for rolling it on with the Fiendonomics and getting all the stats out there. Mike going hard in the paint every single time. Appreciate both of you guys' time. BYU this Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific. The game is on ESPN Plus, which is a travesty. Hopefully that gets upgraded somehow. I don't know if it will or not. But you can listen to it on AM 760. Go to a restaurant or a sports bar to go watch it, or whatever you got to do. Illegal streaming. I didn't say that, but whatever you got to do, watch it. And before we tell you guys good night, make sure you are using our promo code MONTY Monty. You can save 10% off in the online store right now on non-NIL merchandise. We want to make sure we give 100% of the profits to our NIL team members if you purchase, but non-NIL, 10% off with code Monty at checkout. Sound fair? All right, fellas. Any parting shots before we call it a night and wrap this thing up? Fiend?
Just want to thank everyone who joined us for this show and chimed in the chats, man. This has been a lot of fun. I love doing these live stream, and getting to hang out with you guys.
Yes, sir. How about you, Mr. Mike?
Yeah, dude, I love it. I miss coming to the games with you guys and seeing the games, but I do get some nuggets on the telecast when you guys are there. But the one I want to leave you guys with is, remember that run where we didn't lose a game when we were leaving up with 5 minutes to go? It was like 165 in a row or something like that.
I remember that 5 minutes. 5 minutes to go.
I think the stat, if I heard it right, was we're 389-15 when we leave with 5 minutes to play. That's an incredible stat, dude. That's why we close most games out. So that's just one little Fiendalytics or whatever you want to call it, statonomics. So that's a cool one. But yeah, dude, go Aztecs on Friday. I want them to win. Don't get me wrong. So it'll be a good game. We'll see how this team progresses from game 1 to game 2.
All right, you guys heard it. Both these guys. We're going to do more of these live streams. If you guys think we should, definitely let us know. Hit that like and subscribe button. Tell a friend. And we'll see you guys. Tomorrow we might be live streaming football. I know, football. Lot to talk about there, right? Lot to talk about, and it ain't all pretty. And of course, E-Host and Montezuma, they will be recording tomorrow sometime, and hopefully we'll get that out very soon. So if you speak of the Espanol and you like nalgas, make sure you check that out. Yes, I said that. Oscar, big O, I got you. All right, everybody, have a good night. Woo!
Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs.
Beat the Mormons. Not physically. Well, maybe physically, mentally, emotionally.
Terrible. Gotta cut you guys off. Man. Everybody have a good night.
All right. Night, guys.
the bus running cause this won't take long. 4 minutes left and the show still going strong.
The last Mountain West game, San Diego State will be back and
We game time ready. Welcome to my gym where the crowd stays heavy. Keep the bus running cause this won't take long. 4 minutes left when the
San
show
Diego
still
State
going
as we
strong.
are underway. The new season begins, Dave.
I'll tell you what, it's a fist fight down there on the defense.
Saunders for three. It's good from the top. 7-0 start for San Diego State. Mention Reese Waters coming over from USC. He was the 6th player of the year in the Pac-12. And there is a shot from the corner for Waters, his first basket as an Aztec. Cal State Fullerton hasn't made a basket. They turned it over a bunch, and the Aztecs keep rolling. An 11-0 start. Ledee makes it 13, plus the foul. Ledee gets a rebound, boxing out for San Diego State. Ledee trying to hold it all the way down.
You know, those were all people that were impactful.
A turnover, a pass, and Saunders with the flush. Waters the kick out. Parrish waits for the defender to fly by and drains the three. Bottled up, loses the ball. Steal for Butler, on his way. Butler lays it down.
You got to get a timeout if you're Dedrick Taylor. The crowd's going crazy. The defense has energized the
How
offense.
you wanna lose it all begins with me. Trailing on the break, I shoot the three. There's nothing you can do with me. And ruthlessly the crowd is telling you to get used to these L's you be taking every time you step into the V. IEJAS, cause we the best in home game.